Thank you for joining us today to hear more about our automated product assessment tool, RateMyProduct. You're in good company. Many of your colleagues in the industry have joined us as well. I'm Mary Fallon, Marketing and Sales Manager here at Bioinformatics. We've created a lot of buzz around this tool, and product and marketing managers throughout the industry are pretty excited about it. And we're pretty excited about it too. RateMyProduct's not like any other market research tool on the market. It was designed specifically for life science suppliers so they could quickly test a product's market attributes at any stage of a product's life cycle at a nominal cost. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll give you an overview of Rate My Product and describe different ways you can use this product assessment tool. At the end of our discussion, we'll have an opportunity to take any questions you might have. Go ahead and type your questions in the question box on the side of your screen there, and we will address those at the end. But first, for those of you who don't know us, it's important to establish our expertise with you so that you understand why we're the company that you can count on to automate market research in scientific markets. For almost 20 years, Bioinformatics LLC has been conducting market research for companies that sell products and services to scientific markets. In fact, we focus only on scientific markets, which sets us apart from other market research firms that cast a much wider net. We know your markets, we know your products, and there's hardly a question that we have not asked a scientist about what you need to know about your products and services. What our clients appreciate about us is our ability to speak the language of science and artfully design surveys, focus groups, and discussions to distill what you need to know about launching new products, refining your marketing strategy, and monitoring customer satisfaction. We assign a lead science analyst to each project so that the technology is communicated in a clear, relatable way to the scientists whose opinions you need. The Science Advisory Board was founded by us in 1997 and continues to grow. This online community of scientists provides a forum for researchers to connect to one another and to provide survey feedback to manufacturers about products and services. In order to be a member of our panel, researchers provide a detailed profile on their area of expertise, the work they do, and the instruments they use. Because of the information we have about our members, we can target qualified researchers to answer specific questions about your products. It's this proprietary online community that enables us to go directly to researchers that are using your products and get fast turnaround feedback for your Rate My Product report. And I would encourage you to check out our website. Take a look at our client list. We're working with all of the suppliers in your space, and most likely you're on it as well in some form or fashion. Our presenters today are Greg Thompson, who's the Director of Business Development here at Bioinformatics, Robin Rothrock, Director of Publications, and myself. And now I'm going to turn it over to Greg.
Thanks, Mary. So what is Rate My Product, and why did we develop this automated product assessment tool? In our 2 decades of conducting market research on scientific markets, we've become adept at recognizing common pain points among product managers who are charged with bringing new products to market on a limited budget, and we knew we could help. So here's what product managers like yourselves have been telling us for years, and maybe this sounds familiar to you. Your timelines are too short. Your products must be at the forefront of cutting-edge technologies and make the job of scientific discovery less complicated, more efficient, and more accurate. What this means to you is that you need to continually produce an ever-changing array of products for more specialized groups of scientists to choose from. Go-to-market decisions are made in short order, many times without necessary market validation. There's too much guesswork. Trying to play detective as to why a product is not performing well can be challenging without market data that illuminates areas where your product may not be performing well. Too often, teams must rely on intuition and experience, and while both are invaluable, they can be misleading without hard data to support them. And your budgets are too small. Some of you might be thinking that is if you even have a budget. To conduct a simple market research survey starts somewhere around $10,000. But as projects become more complex, that cost quickly escalates. And although an in-depth understanding of the market is critical, budget may not have been allocated to your product or product line. It's simply a reality that most product and marketing managers are forced to deal with, whether they like it or not. So over the years, we've talked to hundreds of managers who were frustrated by what they needed to accomplish without the benefit of market research. RateMyProduct is our response to this dilemma. We've created an automated tool to quickly and easily capture product performance data to get a read on the market's reaction to proposed features, messaging, and pricing. In addition, we've included benchmarking data so that product and marketing managers can quickly assess how their product stands up to those of other life science supplier companies. We developed this tool for you based on our involvement in literally hundreds of projects at all stages of new product development. So, Rate My Product is a self service market research tool that you can generate at your convenience and without the need to engage an outside consulting firm like us. 100 prospective customers will rate your product on 7 key predictors associated with market success. The raw data is run through a sophisticated statistical model to generate a score from the following attributes: market receptivity, product utility, innovation, marketing effectiveness, pricing effectiveness, purchase criteria, and differentiation. The scores for each of these indicators are analyzed to obtain your product's RMP score. A high RMP score is a good indicator of the overall value a customer will place on your product. The scores for your new product are also compared to industry averages to provide a benchmark as to how your product is perceived relative to other products in your market. Sounds great, right? Sure, but maybe you're still not clear about exactly what Rate My Product is or what it would look like if you were to use Rate My Product. So Mary is going to go into some detail as to what you can expect when you decide to deploy Rate My Product on one of your next projects.
First of all, Rate My Product is very easy to use. Here's how it works. You complete an online form that answers a few questions about your product, including a description. We encourage you to use the same description you're using or planning to use in your marketing message because you'll be rated on that too. This form will also include the price of your product or a price you wish to test. When the form is complete, you'll then choose your target market. Your target audience can be segmented by region, US or Europe, by technique, we have 30 of them, or by area of research. After you've filled out your form and chosen your target audience, you hit submit and we do the rest. Take a look at the techniques and areas of research you can choose from. You choose your region, US or EU, one scientific technique, and even the area of research if you wish. Next, 100 researchers from our Science Advisory Board will evaluate your product on multiple attributes. Keep in mind that not only is your product being rated, these 100 researchers are also spending time giving your product consideration, which promotes awareness of your product and your brand. And the final step is, within 5 business days, you'll be alerted you can go online and view your Rate My Product results. So, what does your Rate My Product report look like? Your scores will be presented in a dashboard-style format, similar to this example here. This dashboard provides a snapshot of how each of these attributes are performing and how they measure up with the industry average. Each of these scores are derived from multiple data points, calculated so you can review your final results in quick-to-read format. As you can see, you'll receive scores on each of the product and market attributes Greg mentioned before, with additional reporting for each of the individual attributes. Keep in mind, this chart also indicates how your product is performing against industry averages. So let's take a quick look at the individual scores. A high market receptivity score indicates that your company has correctly identified a customer need and has presented a compelling solution to the market. The product utility score measures the desirability of various features. The innovation score indicates whether or not customers feel the product brings something new to the marketplace. Marketing effectiveness measures brand awareness and clarity of marketing message. Pricing effectiveness measures appropriateness of pricing. Purchase criteria provides an understanding of the attributes that a potential customer values most in the product presented. Differentiation indicates how unique your product features are compared to your competitors. So Rate My Product can provide a snapshot of your product's performance to quickly identify strengths and weaknesses, the missing pieces of the puzzle. So how much would it cost for you to collect all of this data yourself or to outsource it to a third party, like us? To commission a report that would encompass the scope of one Rate My Product could run anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000. Plus, the turnaround time for a full-blown market report is typically 4 to 6 weeks. But that's not the case for Rate My Product. One of the features of Rate My Product that our clients are most happy about is the cost. For $1,500, your product will be measured on all of the attributes we've described, and the turnaround is only 5 business days. So now let's talk about some ways you can use this low-budget, fast turnaround tool. As a former marketing manager and product line business manager at Life Technologies and ATCC, Dr. Robin Rothrock was actively involved in new product development. Robin has joined us today to provide insights as to a few of the ways you can use Rate My Product to give you confidence and provide direction as you work your way through the product development process. Robin, thank you for joining us.
My great pleasure. Thank you, Mary.
For starters, Robin, tell us about how Rate My Product can be used for those 11th hour gut checks that most product managers are familiar with.
Going back to what Greg and Mary said earlier, many times you have little or no money available for external market research. During the course of new product development, your team has taken advantage of internal knowledge developed from years of experience. Sometimes, though, you might want customer validation of your marketing message or your price on a new product just to make sure that you're going down the right path when you still have time to make changes. The high level and detailed reporting that you get from the Rate My Product dashboard can confirm the decisions that you've made or give you the heads up that you might have a problem.
So, how can Rate My Product be used to test geographic differences in multiple target audiences?
Rate My Product gives you the flexibility you need to select your target audience. As you said earlier, you can select by geographic region, either the United States or Europe. You can target a specific customer type by techniques they currently perform or by a broad category of research. Because Rate My Product is so reasonably priced, you can select multiple Rate My Product modules for the same product and vary the target audience. This would be a great way to see if there are differences by region or by customer type and allow you to tailor your tactical marketing to the most receptive target audience.
So, how can product and marketing managers use Rate My Product to monitor performance?
It's easy to use Rate My Product to monitor a product over time. Because the format is standardized and does not vary, it is ideally suited for this task. Rate My Product can be deployed during development, just prior to product launch, and then at intervals post-release. You can make the decision whether to run exactly the same product description over time or to vary it if you have updated the marketing collateral or have changed the price. If, as a product or marketing manager, you are seeing market specific differences, either by customer segment or by region, then Rate My Product might help you figure out what's working and what might need to be changed.
And so, tell us how Rate My Product can be used to compare performance against industry averages.
Because the Rate My Product format is standardized, it really facilitates the collection of data not only across your own product portfolio, but also to understand how customers perceive similar products from other suppliers. At the end of last year, we ran our own experiment to test this hypothesis. That is, the ability of Rate My Product to provide competitive insight and market intelligence. As an example of Rate My Product's power and versatility, we use this automated tool to measure the performance and value of several low throughput, benchtop real-time PCR machines. This research quickly allowed us to identify the market leaders and the market followers and how the winners were earning and leveraging their perception in the market. The product category has been around for many years, but has recently seen a burst of innovation and new product introductions. For example, the Light Cycler Nano System from Roche Applied Science was introduced to the US market at the end of 2011. Using as our source material the marketing collateral provided by each supplier, Applied Biosystems, Thermo Scientific, Biorad, Illumina, Qiagen, and Roche, we completed a Rate My Product form for each instrument. 100 unique respondents evaluated each instrument, and the results were analyzed using the Rate My Product algorithm. This chart summarizes the RMP scores obtained for each instrument. The instruments with the top scores are those from Illumina and Applied Biosystems. The insight gleaned regarding the marketing messages was fascinating. In the hands of a marketing manager, experienced or novice, this information could be used to validate existing market knowledge and or shed light on vexing market questions. I was really excited about the market insights we were able to extract from this exercise and how much sense they made. Let's take a look at a couple of them. The market receptivity score reflects the language each supplier used to explain the customer need, how well that language resonates with the target audience, and how well the product, in this case, one of 7 low throughput real-time PCR instruments, meets that customer need. You can see that the market receptivity scores for the Illumina and the Applied Biosystems instruments are the highest. They have the highest vertical bars above the average that is indicated here by the horizontal line. In this case, both companies identified the customer need as making advanced real-time PCR technology accessible to both experienced and new users. The marketing effectiveness score combines the power of brand familiarity with the clarity and believability of the marketing message. Applied Biosystems is the market leader in real-time PCR instrumentation. Illumina is best known for microarrays and next-generation sequencing. Brand awareness and the believability of communications produced by Applied Biosystems made the difference when examining the differences that generate the overall score for marketing effectiveness. The difference in the marketing effectiveness scores between the two companies makes this clear. AB's score is above average and Illumina's is not.
Thank you, Robin, for those insights. We did schedule a few minutes here at the end of our presentation to take a couple of questions, which we do have. Looks like one individual is asking about the online panel and whether or not the panel receives payment from bioinformatics. And to just be clear about that, the fee for Rate My Product, $1,500, includes the honorary award to all of the respondents, the participants in your Rate My Product study. So I hope that answers that question. And let's see, we've got how were the industry averages determined? And we have here today one of our silent attendees, but now we're going to pull him in, is Justin Dudash. He's the one who actually developed Rate My Product. He's Vice President of Advisory Services here, Research and Advisory Services here at Bioinformatics. So I'm going to turn that question over to Justin.
Thanks, Mary. As far as the industry averages, these are calculated and determined based upon all of the data collected via the RateMyProduct platform to date. So the industry averages are continually being updated with the additional data that we collect as new RateMyProducts are fielded and performed. The average itself is reflective of the product category or the region in which the RateMyProduct is being fielded. As we have more data available for each technique and each region, we'll be able to compare very specifically to comparable and competitive products to that which you have fielded. Anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, that's actually the second part of that question just came up as well. If this is an innovative product, then how are we able to obtain the industry averages? I do believe Justin addressed that, that eventually, I mean, we've had thousands of respondents now go through Rate My Product, but eventually we will be able to divide that by product category as well. So hopefully that answers the question. But indeed, if there are any other questions that anybody has, as you go throughout your day and start thinking about the content of what we were talking about, then we're available here. Let's see, we just got another question in, and I do think we've got some time for that. So can you show a typical input to request a Rate My Product service?
I think what we'll do in order to address this is follow up offline. But essentially, it's a web form that you fill out that describes the product. You indicate your company, the price of the product, and the various features and benefits that you see associated with your product. So you actually lay out 5 particular features, and you describe the problem that the product is trying to address. And it's all sort of online, and it's a simple web form that you fill out. And so it's very straightforward. You actually check the product out online as well. So it's intended to be completely self-service. We will send you an example of that offline as well.
Optionally, that also includes a picture or image of your product if you wish to include that to demonstrate particular size or whatever information that you would want to include in that image.
In addition to to a picture of the product, for example, if it's an instrument, you can also show competitive audit data, which can be very powerful. I mean, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? And so if you've got gorgeous pictures that you think make your case, then by all means they can be included as well.
Looks like we've got 1 or 2 more questions here. One about the composition of the panel. Essentially, the way that we've set this up is that we're intending for each of these evaluations to have a 70% academic representation and a 30% industrial representation. The panel is a little different than that, but each of the results that you'll get will have that distribution of responses. And then the next, looks like the last question here is how can someone evaluate a product that they don't know much about yet?
That's a good question.
It's a really good question. And so the intention of the Rate My Product is to really teach that individual about the product. The first presentation to them is about what is the problem that this product is intending to solve. So for the PCR examples that Robin had spoke about, the problem was that novice PCR users had to go to a core lab and had to be prepped up, and there was just a high barrier to entry for the PCR market potentially. So the problem that these were trying to solve was to make it accessible, to sort of democratize PCR or qPCR. So that was the problem, and then the actual presentation of the product proceeds. So then you tell them how it is that this product is intending to solve the problem that we've laid out previously. Again, these individuals will be people who have experience using products that are similar to the one that you're presenting. So they should have the perspective, both with sort of teaching them through their taking the survey and because of their qualified backgrounds. We've actually believed that the people are able to evaluate new products with ease.
And that actually really does raise a good question, because Rate My Product can be used on product concepts, on actual products in the market, mature products, and services. So it really depends on what is most important to you, what you're testing. For example, the message. If it's a product concept, you may be wondering if your initial message concept, or your initial message, or the one that you're going to go out with, is going to work. But then you may have a message that's already on the market with a product that's already out there, and you want to see what the reception is of that. So it just depends on where you are in the cycle, but you can test all of those different attributes. So we have another question here. Okay, do you capture the role of those rating the product?
Well, we certainly do. We're not. I don't believe it's part of the standard template report currently, but it's certainly something that we could let you know. Generally, it's about 50% PIs, about 25% staff scientists, and about 25% lab managers for most of these that we've done to date. And then the last question is, where is the form accessed? That's an easy one. On our website. So if you go to www.gene2drug.com, so GENE, the number two, and then drug.com, you'll see on the, looks like Mary's going to pull it up. Or no. Yeah, so the gene2drug.com there in the bottom left, you'll see a banner on the right-hand side going down the web page. And in orange, it stands right out. You'll see on the bottom of the 4 tabs, one for Rate My Product, and you can get lots of information there.
And we'll send you all the link after we've concluded here. So we'll make sure that you get all the information that you need. One of the part of that question might also be ultimately, where are you getting your report from? And the platform we use is Qualtrics. And so if any of you are currently using Qualtrics, you may be familiar with it. So thank you all for joining us today to learn more about Rate My Product. As I mentioned, to run a single one is $1,500. Why not give it a try? Give us a call. We'll step you through the process, answer any more questions you might have. It's really very easy to use, and it's a quick way to get the answers you need. So we appreciate your spending time with us today, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you again.